Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Today we are focused on responding to the request for proposals. I am Dr. Ebony Gray. This is the Government Contracting Success Live. I'll be live every Monday. So sometimes we'll go short, sometimes we'll go long. It just depends on the vibes and what we're going over each day. So today it's all about responding to requests for proposals, responding to pre solicitations, and sources sought. So this is with the understanding you've registered with SAM.gov, you have your unique identifier, you have your cage code, you have your DUNS number, which again is not required for government contracting. It's just a great thing to have to build up your business credit. And you're out here and you're saying, I have everything, I'm registered. What do I do? How do I respond to these proposals? It's so overwhelming. How do I search for the different contract opportunities? So today we're actually going to go through and just talk about some of the requirements for requests for proposals, requests for quotes, sources sought, and pre solicitation specifically for government contracting. So thank you, thank you, thank you everyone that is joining me tonight. I appreciate your time. And for those that are watching later, thank you too. So, first things first, always, always visit sam.gov to find contracts. So, I'm typing it in the chat. So, visit sam.gov to find contracts. That is what I am using today. So, if you do not have a sam.gov account, it's okay. You can still search. You can go to the website and still search contracts, but it is a good practice. Go ahead and sign up for sam.gov. Get you an account, get ready. Now, even for sole proprietors, meaning you're just working by yourself, you can be an individual contractor or a sole proprietor. That is not a problem. The difference is you can register for your EIN number, or you may have to use your social security number if you don't have an EIN number. I highly recommend that you formally register, get your EIN number, register your business as an official entity with your local state, as well as government, and just get your business started the right way. Get your business bank account, get your business website, get your business email, because you want to be established as an official business, right? You want to start your business the right way. But again, if you are a sole proprietor, you're just out here trying to make it, trying to get on a contract, possibly trying to sub for a contract, or you may even possibly be trying to get prime on a contract because you have an individualized skill. Some things that I can think about are like coaching, right? So I hold the International Coach Federation certification. A government agency might say, we want a coach to come in and mentor our coaches so they can get certified as coaches. That could possibly be a sole contract, right? They're just contracting me to come in, teach, and get those coaches certified. So there are opportunities. Maybe you're a graphic artist and you want to give your services to the government to design programs or art for our different programs that we have, like Women's History Month, Black History Month, Native American History Month. Go ahead, sign up, register in sam.gov, or just search for the different opportunities because you just never know what's out there, what type of opportunity. So, again, today we are specifically focused on what's required for a request for proposal and how do you find those requirements after you're all registered. So, first things first, I am going to share my screen so you can see what I'm doing. So this is SAM.gov. And again, with SAM.gov specifically, you can search for specific types of contracts. So let's say I want to do ICF coach. So let's see if they have any opportunities for me. No. Let's see, coach. So if you're a coach out there, right? I know I have a couple of coach friends. You see this one, it is for a transformation, change coaching, and consulting. So this is actually an organization. So again, I just did a wide search. So they need to change the spelling right of their name, but again, that's a coaching and consulting organization. So maybe if I wanted to possibly partner with that organization, I could. This one is sources sought, current response date the 24th. Let's see what this is about. So this is Blackfeet Service Unit Mobile Mammography. They're looking for sources sought, which means again they're sourcing. This is HHS, so Health and Human Services Department of Indian Health Service. So that's a sub tier of HHS. They're looking for responses by the 22nd. So you see, they published on March 8th. They're looking for responses by March 22nd. Medical evaluation and screening. The NAICS code is diagnostic imaging sensors. This is in Browning. It's not a solicitation for proposals. They're just looking for sources, right? They're sourcing to see what's out there to get information. So for this type of request, you would send a letter of interest and specifically follow the instructions. So instructions for submission: any business or activity owned by one or more Indians, federally recognized Indian tribes, or Alaska Native corporations. So when we're talking about like government contracts that are sole sourced or that are set aside, this is very important. So you see, this particular contract is set aside for Indian, federally recognized Indian tribe, or Alaska Native corporation ownership that is not less than 51%. So you would pay attention to that. If you're not eligible or if you don't fall into that category, then you wouldn't apply for this particular contract. But if you are eligible, this is a great opportunity for you to go ahead, apply, and get this money, get this contract. So this is again any business activity that meets the IEE requirements. The duration is 1 year with 4 option years. It talks about the purpose of this particular contract. You can see what documents, so accreditation from the American College of Radiology, certification from the FDA, and you must meet MSQA standards. The contractor shall provide non-personnel healthcare services, and it talks about all of the things required for this particular contract. So again, if you're in the medical field and you fit into those categories, this is something for you. It talks about each thing that you're required to do. Your deliverables. So you'll be responsible for providing a mobile unit for mammography services, the place of performance. The BCH will assist with scheduling, will provide a level of parking area for the mobile coach to park, free of snow and debris. It talks about IT requirements. So again, the contractor shall sign a data exchange agreement with the IHS and establish a virtual private network. Again, privileged health information. and then instructions. So when you talk about, well, what am I supposed to provide? So this would be a letter of interest, and you would provide specifically this in your response, which it says instructions to the industry. So number of years that you have experience. So you must meet the requirements for the years, any past jobs that you've had. So that would include federal experience or civilian experience, like any experience that you've had providing mobile mammography services. Demonstrate your company meets the definition of ISBEE. So demonstrating that you meet the Indian, Native American um, standards. Demonstrate how your company will receive at least 51% of the earnings from the awarded contract. If you have a partnership or subcontractor, so again, if maybe you provide this service and you don't meet the ISBEE standards, you can always subcontract with someone and work together to put together this proposal. But remember, the ISBEE company must earn 51% or more, and you must annotate that as to how you're going to provide that payment of 51% or more earnings. And that's it. Like basically, this particular list is all that you would have to provide, right? I also would include your capability statement because your capability statement will have like your overall picture. But essentially, you would provide a letter with all of these requirements. What I would suggest is to put 1, 2, 3, right, next to each bullet. So, number one, number of years of experience. Number two, list of past jobs. Number three, demonstrate how your company meets the definition. So, actually listed in order. So that way it's clear that you're answering each of those questions because you must answer each of them. This is specifying that you need to address these items in your capability statement. So, I actually provide a capability statement template. And again, if you get on our mailing list and if you go to graceconsultinggroup.com, you can purchase our capability statement template just for you. So you have the structure, but in your capability statement template, you would update it to include all of these items because it says it right here. Failure to address these items in your capability statement could exclude your firm from being determined a capable IEE, ISBEE source. So again, you would go through, look at your capability statement template, and put all of these items in that capability statement template. I still would formally actually create a letter of interest, right? Addressing each of these questions. It says submission. Interested parties capable of performing the required services may submit a response via email. So you would respond to jana.pryor@ihs.gov no later than 15 days from the date of the sources sought announcement. So no later than the deadline, right? Um, you can submit your capability response as instructed above. And again, it's telling you exactly what it wants you to put in that capability statement and include a copy of the Buy Indian Act, Indian Economic Enterprise Representation Form. So that will be what you're required. One thing about these requirements is they're very specific. Do exactly what they say, right? If they say we want the capability statement to include this, you include each of those items. You look clearly at the submission, just read through it. It tells you who to send the response to, and that's it. It's nothing hard. It's nothing cumbersome. You see, they didn't ask you for your business plan. They didn't ask you for your bank statements. They didn't ask you for anything just yet, because all they're doing is sourcing you. So all it takes is just a letter with the requirements right here, and all of the instructions are listed out clearly for you. It's not a big haul. It's submit your capability statement, and again, I highly suggest submitting a letter of interest to introduce yourself and to give them a clear picture of all the things that you can provide and answer each of these: number one, number two, number three, number four, number five. I do have a letter of interest template, You can purchase it from graceconsultingroup.com if you need help putting together your letter of interest and your capability statement template as well. It's just that simple, and you can easily submit for sources select. So let's go ahead and look for some other ones. And I'm going to go ahead and X out of just coach, and let's do search editor. And let's do all domains, right? So you see I clicked on all domains, contract opportunities. And specifically, I want to look at notice types. Under the notice type, let's look at pre-solicitation. So pre-solicitation, again, they're just soliciting, they're trying to see what's out there. They're seeking space for TSA on airport property, quick series one app software. So let's look at this one. I want you to see, and I know an IT person that's in Norfolk. So if you're out there, you're watching this, contact me. Let's go after this particular pre-solicitation. So this one is the Department of Defense, and underneath the Department of Defense is the Department of Navy, and underneath the Department of Navy is NAVSUP or NAVSUP. They have another subcommand, the NAVSUP Global Logistics Support, another subcommand, NAVSUP FLC Norfolk, and the office NAVSUP Flight Log Center Norfolk. Again, all of those are potential sources, potential contacts. Overall, Department of Defense, sub-tier Department of Navy, and specifically, you should know, of course, they have the command, but the command can be multiple locations. So if you're in Norfolk, you would want to look up NAVSUP FLC Norfolk, or specifically look at the POCs, so you can hit that location right directly. Because again, as you can see, the Navy is so big, you may not necessarily know where to look or know how to find this particular notice. You scroll all the way down and you see the primary point of contact, Kelly Nevelstein. She has her email. And then you also have Carlton Walton. They have their email. So they would be the points of contact if you had like any questions or anything about this particular pre-solicitation. So with this, you have March 15th is the original response date. So it's now March 11th. So March 15th, original response date. So that's another quick. This is support professional communications. This is computer related services. Let's see. So you have, make sure that you can see. So I'm going to stop sharing so I can actually share the synopsis with you. So this is the attachment that was in the pre-solicitation. It talks about the organization. They intend to negotiate a sole source firm fixed price type. So again, if you fall underneath one of the eligibilities to be a sole source contractor, which is why it's important to get those certifications like woman-owned small business, veteran-owned small business, 8A, Indian-owned small business, because you can get the sole source firm fixed price or sole source contract, right? Because they're specifically looking for sole source, meaning no competition, right? They could directly give you that contract if you fell within this category. So they're looking for a distributor of the required quick series publishing one app software. So, how could this impact you? How could you get this contract? You could potentially reach out to Quick Series Publishing One App Software and become a distributor, right? Figure out how much it is to issue the software license, negotiate a contract specifically with Quick Series Publishing One App Software to be able to sell this software to the government, because the government can't go to Quick Series Publishing One App. They need a person in the middle, that middleman, to essentially, or distributor, in order to sell that software license to the government. So you would be responsible for the performance of all inspection requirements and quality control. The government will conduct an acceptance inspection. The NAICS code that they're looking for is 54159 with a size standard of 34 million. You will have to complete a request for quote package. That'll be available on the 12th of March by 2024. You'll be able to download that document, and then it gives you the website, which is http://www.neco.navy.mil. Potential contractors are hereby notified that the solicitation and subsequent amendments to the solicitation will only be available for download at the above site. So if you were interested, if you knew that you could somehow acquire that specific software, you would go to NACO.navy.mil website and download the request for quote, or RFQ, and complete that package. And RFQ is basically you providing like the pricing to acquire, for the government to acquire that software. You must be registered for SAM. So again, that's important for you to make sure that you're registered for SAM.gov. And also, of course, you must meet those annual registration requirements. So if your SAM.gov is about to expire, make sure that you update it. They have the POCs. So again, this is just their sourcing, right? This is pre-solicitation. They're telling you what's coming. So this ends, and then of course on March 12th, they're actually going to submit a request for the RFQs, request for quotes, RFQ. So you can go directly to the website. So it may not be on sam.gov. It's saying it's only going to be at this naco.navy.mil website. You go to that website and you provide your quote, or you provide your prices that you want to charge the government. And all this will take is a phone call to Quick Series Publishing Incorporated, or an email, figure out how much it is to sell the government each license. You put your proposal together and your pricing. Remember the amount of time, the resources that you would need when you're doing the pricing, and then you submit it to the government. So it's, can't say it's quick, because of course you have to do some footwork, but if you're into IT, why not try to go for this and get this contract and figure out how you can sell the government the Quick Series Publishing Incorporated software. It's that simple. So if you're in Norfolk, and even if you're not in Norfolk, you can actually apply for the contract. So go ahead. If you're in that IT space, go for it. Try it. And we'll go back to sam.gov. Let's go to notice types. Let's look at the actual proposals. So award notice means they've awarded. Let's look at solicitation. What is the government soliciting, right? So if you look at it, the government is currently soliciting 6,951 contracts or opportunities for contracts. So this one, if snow plowing, right? Open for solicitation. NASA, strategic planning facilitator. Now this might be one that I will be eligible for, right? You know, background, been a good fella, served in the Air Force, served as a strategic planner and a facilitator. So any of my friends that are at Goodfella or Air Force people or anybody that's in this training space, right? This is Goodfella Air Force Base Strategic Planning Facilitator, Department of Defense, the Department of the Air Force is the sub. The major command is Air Education and Training Command, AETC. If you see that acronym, they are originally, this was published on March 6th. The offers are due on March 15th. Again, quick turnaround. This is a small business set aside. The NAICS code is 541611, Administrative Management and General Management Consulting Services. The solicitation has been amended to include the following changes. So they've added changes. So evaluation commercial products and commercial services, and commercial products and commercial services. Um, Again, they made some changes to the solicitation. All right, so this is the requirements. The requirement consists of pre-work, which includes developing an overview of events, a schedule of events for the planning sessions, interviews that may be conducted in person, virtually, or a hybrid of the two, and preparing resources for the strategic planning session. So they're revving up for a strategic planning session. So if you have background experience in that, this is a contract for you. This strategic planning session includes facilitating the planning session to ensure all topics are discussed, taking notes, and assisting in development of a 10-year plan. That is pretty significant. Post work, which includes compiling all data into a follow-up product in PDF, PowerPoint, multimedia, providing do outs and notes, and discuss with the 17th training wing leadership in person, virtually, or hybrid of the two. The government has the right to cancel this notice. And then here's all the paperwork and documents. Now, very important, right? If you're looking at this contract, now this contract for me and my peers actually is a great opportunity. I have a lot of peers in the Air Force. So if you're my friend out there and you're looking and seeing this, this is a great opportunity for you. Go ahead and apply. And again, it's for the Air Force. Strategic planning is for you to help the Air Force develop their strategic plan, facilitate the meeting. You'll be providing the materials, right? Post and pre for the strategic planning session. So you see the different documents. So the solicitation amendment, evaluation criteria, wing facilitator question and answer, statement of work. So that's the important thing. I'm going to pull up the statement of work, but these are all the documents. So you should make sure that you look at all of the documents, right? Um, so you don't miss anything because it could be like wage determination, statement of work, evaluation criteria. Just make sure that you go through each of these documents one by one. Some of them are, it looks like updates, right? So as you can see, the statement of work, they have one for March 8th, and then they had one that they put out on March 6th. So I'm going to go ahead and look at the statement of work. And also, I'm going to pull up the solicitation to see what the solicitation says. And both of them are in my downloads. So I'm going to stop sharing. So this particular one, so the statement of work is basically spelling out exactly what was in SAM.gov as far as what's expected with the pre and the post work. But again, you want to make sure that you actually can comply. And then this is the actual solicitation. So let's go through this. I am going to share my screen so you can see what the solicitation looks like for this particular contract. So this solicitation, you can see the POC. So you always start from the top, right? And just read through it. Take your time. Um, Robert Cosper has his telephone number. Now he should have put his area code right, but again, you can find his telephone number by where he's located. Um, this is for small business and is set aside. You can see both of those boxes are checked. Some of the other boxes would be like Hub Zone, service disabled veteran owned small business, woman owned small business, economically disadvantaged woman owned small business, 8A, North American industry classification standard or the NAICS code. You see what they're looking for is 541611 is the NAICS code. But so all of that information is right there. Or they could have said unrestricted, like anybody can get the contract, no restrictions. But again, this one is specifically for small business set aside. This is a request for quote. You have like all of the different documents that are relevant. So um, the FAR, which FAR, you can find those documents at acquisition.gov, or you can Google, right? FAR 52212-1. You want to be familiar with the documents where it says solicitation incorporates by reference. You want to just be familiar to know what those documents are, to be able to review the documents to make sure that you are complying. So bookmark, read through, make sure that you are familiar with the FARs. This is the standard form 1449. So sometimes you'll see reference to different forms. Again, you can always Google um, the standard form 1449, or of course, typically they'll provide you the forms and paperwork. So I want you to see the top supplies or services and prices or cost. So again, this is where you would do your price or cost proposal. So say for instance, you wanted to pursue this contract. So you would need to complete, right, the service or services and prices or costs. So item 0001, that's strategic planning session pre-work, overview of events for interviews, 3-day session and post-session follow-up, pre-session interviews, material gathering, prepare schedule of events for strategic planning session. What's your price? So this pricing arrangement is firm fixed price. So the price that you propose is the price that you will be paid. You want to think clearly, what's your worth, right? What's your hourly pay? Um, what type of resources will you need in order to conduct that particular session? And essentially, what all encompasses this particular line item to make sure that you price accordingly. You don't want to undercut yourself, right? Automatically, oh, I want the contract. I'm going to just give them the lowest price. But you have to think about what is your hourly price, right? What's your overall price in order to execute that 3 day session? So think about it. It might be what, 8 hours long per session, plus you may have post work that you need to do. You have to gather all the materials. So what is your price for that particular line item? Then you have line item two, which is uh-oh, line item two, which is the strategic planning session. That's to facilitate meeting, provide materials, gather from pre-work session, take notes. Again, this is the firm fixed price. What's your price for that particular line item? Again, you'll be taking notes. So how much will it be for you to sit there, take notes? And this might be another person. So it may not just be you, right? If you have multiple people that are going to be providing that service, or possibly if somebody is subbing you, right? Subcontractor, what's their cost? Or again, what's your cost to provide line item number two? So then line item number three is post work, facilitate in person, virtual or hybrid options. So again, you can do either virtual by Zoom or Teams or another meeting platform, or you can facilitate in person, or you can do a hybrid option. You'll have to provide the PDF, PowerPoint, and other multimedia format for this particular strategic planning session. So line item one is the pre-work required to prep for this strategic planning session. Line item two is you're actually sitting in the meeting, facilitating the meeting, taking notes, gathering notes. And line item three is that post work where you put it all together. You're providing that briefing to the senior leadership and key stakeholders, and actually reporting out the results from that strategic planning session. So that is what you're pricing. What is your cost in order to conduct that? How many people do you need? Again, you may need multiple people, right? Like somebody to take notes, somebody that's facilitating, somebody that's working the slides. So you have to think about that when you're thinking about your cost, and you would provide your cost right here, the unit price, the amount. So then you have packaging and marking, inspection and acceptance, overall contract, inspection and acceptance, locations. You can see all the data. So basically for line item one, that's the information for the inspection and acceptance and the location. You have all the information, the POC, line item two, same thing, and line item three, because the government, of course, wants to make sure that you deliver, right? What are you proposing? What are you providing? And of course, they're trying to figure out if you're, first of all, capable of providing that service. And second of all, once you provide that service, they also have to do a quality review check to make sure that you actually provided that service. So here it goes, deliveries or performance. So again, did you perform the actual work? So these dates are important. It says what, April 2024 to June 2024. So they're looking, right, to do this ASAP. The commander probably, whether it's a change of command or maybe the commander is like, look, I need to prep for these next 20 years. So they're looking ASAP. So they're looking for somebody that can perform like yesterday for this. But again, you see the period of performance, April 2024 to June 2024. So you got to be ready, right? And you don't have to get ready if you stay ready. You see all the different clauses, your payment instructions, all of the details. And this is what you do as you're going through the contracts. Just read through all the data, look at each line item, make sure you're not missing anything, make sure that you're providing everything the government needs to make their decision. They provide the system, and then this is the information that you would have to provide. for your payments. They have special contract requirements. And remember, I told you about the FAR. You want to make sure that you are familiar with the FAR, the specific numbers, look and see, make sure that you're complying. Make sure you bookmark all of these different FARs and familiarize yourself with the different contract clauses. You can find them at acquisition.gov or you can Google FAR 52.204-13, etc. It tells you like all the different restrictions and all of that stuff. So it's important. Maybe you need like administrative assistant, an attorney to review all these documents with you because you want to make sure that you're compliant. You see the list of attachments. So number 1 is the statement of work. Number 2 is the evaluation criteria. Number 3 is the wage determination. Number 4 is the contract data requirements list. So those are the attachments that are required for this particular response. And let me go back up. And normally, if I was going through a contract, I'm going through like very slow, looking. You can see the different questions that they have. Now, this one, small disadvantaged business concern, at least 51% unconditionally and directly owned by one or more socially disadvantaged or economically disadvantaged individuals. So all of this jargon and language is important because you must make sure that you comply. Do not lie, right? If you don't fit underneath that particular area, tell the truth, right? But if you are socially disadvantaged or economically disadvantaged, of course, identify accordingly. And it specifically tells you, they don't play about that. They tell you, like, what does it mean to fit under each of those categories. Then you go through, just look at everything, make sure you fill it out accordingly if it's applicable. Let's go up. You can see like the tax identification number and information. Cage code, like all the data specific to your company. It has specific questions. So again, you would have to go through this carefully, make sure, like this one, the offerer represents that it is not or is a corporation that has any unpaid federal tax liability, XYZ. So you want to just read through this, right? If it's applicable, you know what to do. If it's not applicable, mark accordingly. You can see where the offerer represents. So Black American, Hispanic American, Native American, Asian Pacific American, subcontinent Asian or Asian Indian, individual concerned other than one of the preceding. public disclosure of greenhouse gas emissions and reduction goals represent if it's applicable. This wouldn't necessarily be applicable. Now, and again, you see it's going all the way down. This is page 39. So, instructions to offerers, commercial products and commercial services. The following additions changes are made. Then it tells you instructions, right? Timely and equitable evaluation of quotes. Offerers must follow the instructions obtained herein. Um, and they provide you like all of the information. Technical requirements. The offerer shall provide his or her quote, XYZ. It's giving you instructions. It's saying you must provide your offer no later than 3 p.m. Central Standard Time on the 12th of March. Email address for offers sent to both addresses. So you would send to Robert and D'Angel. They have their email. Questions about this offer shall be submitted electronically. So if you had any questions, maybe you're stuck, you must provide, but they had a cutoff, right? You must ask questions prior to March 6th. They will not be accepting any questions after Wednesday, March 6th. Answers will be provided by Friday, March 8th. Disqualifications. Failure to comply with this directive may result in a non-responsive quote and disqualification. So it's very important, right? This is page 39. So if you didn't read through the document, you wouldn't see page 39, which is instructions, conditions, and notices to offerers or quoters. So again, it's very important that you just read through. If you maybe don't have the time, maybe some of this is confusing to you, then of course you can go to the Apex Center, which that's listed on sam.gov. The contact information. Apex used to be called the Procurement Technical Assistance Center, but now it's Apex. They can help you with government contracts, with helping to submit your proposals, helping to provide you guidance for free. You can always go to score.org or sba.gov, local resources, and get help or support, right? Maybe to answer your questions or to get connected. Or, of course, you can always reach out to me one on one. I will provide you like one on one guidance. We'll sit through just like this, go through every document line by line to help you submit your proposal. So if you want to get connected to me, it's www.graceconsultinggroup.com and you can connect. You can schedule a one-on-one consultation for an hour. We will sit down, we will go through, and we'll work through the contract or the response. If you want free help, you can go to Apex, right? The PTech Center, formerly PTech, so Apex. Again, that information is located on sam.gov. Just scroll to the bottom, go to Apex, get you some help, or you can Google Apex, or sometimes you may have to Google PTAC, PTAC, to get your help and resources for free, all things government contracting, as well as you can get a mentor, right? SBA.gov, local resources, or score.org to help you with this process. It tells you like the different factors for how they will award this specific contract. And that's it, right? They'll provide a written notice of award or acceptance of an offer mailed or otherwise furnished to the successful offerer within the time of acceptance. So basically, with this, you wouldn't just look at this. So you look at this, fill it out, complete it as applicable, but also look at all the other documents that are located within this particular solicitation on sam.gov and make sure that you're covering everything because they may have like additional addendums, additional documents required. And again, if you had questions prior to the 6th, you would have asked Robert or the rest of the team the questions. That's why it's important to be on it, right? Every day, every week, have some sort of system where you're looking at the different requests for proposals or solicitations or pre-solicitations or sources sought or requests for quotes. You want to have some sort of system set up so you have the time to ask questions. So you have the time because sometimes they'll have information sessions, right? You want to be able to show up, ask the questions so you can prepare, so you can submit the appropriate documentation. But this opportunity is a great opportunity for people that I know directly, right? That do strategic planning. And again, it's a quick turnaround. So they're looking for somebody to submit by March 12th, and they're going to be essentially ready to go by April. That's a big deal. So if you're eligible, go ahead, apply for this solicitation. The solicitation number is FA303024Q0012. Apply, apply to do strategic planning for the Air Force. You could be changing lives over the next 20 years for the United States Air Force. I'm going to stop sharing this. Going back to sam.gov, just looking at additional solicitations. Let's see. Let's see what else is out there. Something good. So this one, I know a lot of people that work in the medical field. Let me share my screen. So this is Nurse and Vocational Rehabilitation Case Management Services. The current date of offers due is March 29th. Let's see. This is Nurse and Vocational Rehabilitation Case Management Services, the Department of Labor, the Office of Assistant Secretary for Administration and Management, and the office is DLL CAS Division 3 Procurement. You can see this was originally published December 15th. They're looking for offers by March 29th. So the original offers were due January 9th. What this tells me, the fact that they extended was maybe they didn't get enough people, right, to submit, or maybe they didn't get anybody to submit for this particular proposal yet. This falls under the service code Q401, medical nursing, and the NAICS code is 621999. All other miscellaneous ambulatory healthcare services. Place of performance USA, so anywhere in the USA. The purpose is to offer DOL plans to issue a revised solicitation for this procurement. Again, they extended it to March 29th, originally from January. So they have multiple amendments talking about the extension. You see all the different amendments and attachments. One of the key things always is primary points of contact, Mr. Elvis, R. Colbert, and Emily. You can see all the updates, everything that was going on with this particular solicitation. Let's see what this is about. The subcontracting plan, like if you plan to subcontract, past performance questionnaire, your pricing template. Again, you're basically filling out the template, telling them how much you are going to charge, different contractual and technical questions. So let's go to the actual solicitation. Well, first, let's go to the pricing template. So let's see what's going on. So this is the performance work statement. The questions, definitely you would open those so you can see what type of questions they're asking the contractor. The pricing template, definitely, right? You want to give them your prices. The actual solicitation, let's see. They got a duplicate. So let's look. Let me look at the solicitation, see what's going on. That was just an amendment. Let's see. Okay, this is a good one. So this is the solicitation. So again, always start from the top and go to the bottom. It's 110 pages, so I'm not going to go through every single one, but you see this is unrestricted, right? So not set aside, this unrestricted. So anybody that is eligible can actually apply, right? For this particular solicitation. It has Emily has her phone number as the POC. You see who it was issued by, the Department of Labor. So you see proposals are due per block 8 on this form. It tells you who to contact for any questions. It tells you like the base period, information about the travel, more information. Okay. So supplies, the contractor shall furnish nurse and vocational rehabilitation case management services. So that's what you're going to be supplying. It has a pricing table. So they may actually list it in here, but I also have the pricing template pulled up to show you. It provides like the description, so performance of work statement. So the description of the contract and what's required. The contractor shall provide all personnel, equipment, tools, materials, supervision, and other items and non-personnel services necessary to provide registered nurse and vocational rehabilitation counselor, case managers for the nurse intervention program and vocational rehabilitation program for the Office of Workers' Compensation Programs. That is a lot. So it just describes exactly what you're going to do, right? The services that you're going to provide, the background of this particular contract and why, right? You always want to understand the why. So all of the requirements are listed out and you go through it. You want to understand the scope, right? Objective, provide nationwide nurse and vocational rehabilitation and case management services for the Nurse Innovation Program and Vocational Rehabilitation Program for OWCP. The scope, the services provided by the contractor shall support the OWCP, FECA, LHWCA, and all the programs. The work involves the following, and it tells you exactly what they want you to do. Also, this is important, right? So this is what's required of the contract, assure timely submissions of reports and other required documentation, and it spells out exactly what it wants you to do. You can see the estimated period of performance. So this is another one, fast, right? April 5th, 2024 to April 4th, 2025. And then the contract options run all the way till 2029. So it's one base period and 4 option periods of 12 months each. You need to have quality control. So it's important, even when you get the contract, that you maintain quality control, right? Checks and balances. Are you complying, right? Are there any weaknesses? Making sure that you fix any gaps or weaknesses. And you'll be submitting that quality control plan to the contracting officer within 30 calendar days of the contract award. So those type of things are important. Make sure you read all the documentation, make sure you're complying and providing the required documentation to the government. You do get the holidays, right? So the contractor is not required to perform services on the following holidays. You have the hours of operation, which will be 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. The place of performance provides you the place of performance. Security requirements, security documentation, user accounts, because sometimes, right, you'll have to be issued laptops or different accounts, logins, capabilities, the requirement for the background investigation on all your personnel, privacy and reasonable accommodations. That is a requirement, right? You're supposed to provide reasonable accommodations. Your commitment to protect sensitive data, your special qualifications. So different contracts may have special qualifications specifically, right? In medical, there may be certain things that you're supposed to have, certain certifications, certain qualifications. So that's important to make sure that you comply. And or if maybe you as the CEO don't comply, that you hire personnel, right, that meet those requirements for that contract. Let's see. Uh-oh. And again, I'm going fast, trying to get to the meat, right? This contract is intense. So that's probably why a couple of people probably looked at it and said, oh my gosh, this is too much, right? Because it takes a lot to review, to go through and look at all of the requirements. So the contractor shall ensure that it has the following requirements or equipment. So it actually lists out equipment that the contractor must provide or must have, the different services the contractor must provide, right? Contract level management, training on policies, voc rehab counselor services, nurse case manager. So that's important to make sure. Again, your company may not have all of this right now. So if you were pursuing this contract, you need to solicit, right, and get these particular people on your team so you can comply for the contract. So you don't always have to have everything in order, but you do need to make sure that you're soliciting, that you're doing the outreach for those jobs so you can make sure you can comply with the contract. And it lays out like everything. So you would have to go through, and as you're doing like your response to this proposal, that you're outlining everything that you can provide line by line. So let's see. Wait, I know I saw deliverables. So this is important as well, right? When you win the contract, say for instance you didn't have all the personnel, ensure that one or more individuals will act as contact maintenance users in DMP and be fully staffed within 160 days of contract award. So there's certain things that you need to look at in your contract to make sure that you comply. So if you need to, let's say, have those particular personnel in place within 160 days of the contract award, you need to make sure that you're putting out that job announcement and have them in place prior to that. You have like monthly reports and templates. You see all the different reports, the different tasks that's required. And again, this is why people probably did not submit per se, because it's a lot of responsibility. So when you're talking about pricing, you got to think about that. Like, how much would it cost for you to provide that specific service, and do not undersell. So these are some of the performance requirements. So again, within 30 calendar days of contract award, compliance with all performance requirements, timeframes detailed under section 1.6.1 of this PWS. It is important to make sure you have a great project manager, to make sure you have a compliance officer to ensure that you are compliant with contracts once you jump into them. So it has all the dates and timelines. So this will be your checklist to make sure you're compliant. If you have a great compliance officer, they're going line by line, keeping you straight, making sure that that you're compliant, so you don't get on the bad list, right? So it's not just winning the contract. It's not so easy just to win the contract. You also need to comply with what you said you were going to do and actually perform. And then you also have a delivery schedule they have outlined. So develop and maintain an effective quality control plan. You got within 30 days. It's telling you how it wants you to submit. Provide contingency plan. It's telling you how it wants you to submit. So you can see like this is what you would be required to do. And again, your compliance officer can help you with this. Your project manager can help you stay on track with this. But this is very important. Invest in a compliance officer, invest in that program manager or project manager, and just leadership to ensure that everything goes smoothly. So you also want to look at that as you're putting together your contract, to put that in your pricing in your plan as well. So you need the workers to do that day-to-day work, but you also need that management and leadership to do like that oversight to ensure that you are compliant. You can see the average number of referrals. So this is a big, big, big contract, right? They got a lot of work that they have to do. Also, diversity, equity, and inclusion, making sure that you pay fair wages. That's in a lot of the clauses. You see all the different documents that you should be familiar with. The submission of invoices, telework, like all of that. And then you see, what is this, page 100, right? Instructions for offerers, commercial products, and services, right? So this is your instructions. This is basically what the government wants you to provide. So that's page 100. So you had to go through all those pages all the way down to page 100, and then you see the format that you would provide your request for this proposal or request for quote, depending on what they call it. So this is the instructions, proposal date, your technical approach, your past performance, your price, your small business subcontracting plan. You want to make sure that when you do your proposal, that you're laying it out exactly as they say. So the proposal due date is listed in block 8 of the SF 1449. So you want to make sure you look at block 8, right, of SF 1449 for the specific date. You also see the POC. You want to make sure that your proposal includes all this data. You see the page count should not exceed 75 pages. The staffing plan should not exceed 35 pages. It tells you exactly what it needs. So it's a like excluding covers, title pages, all of that. Um, it's telling you the pages for each part, the quality control plan, transition in and out plan, the past performance summary, the price proposal, the no page limitation. So that's important just to scroll on to page 100, right? Like, and understand what's being required for that request for proposal. So it's laying it out step by step. This is the outline that they want you to use. So it's not like one stop fits all, one shop fits all, or one stop fits all for these proposals. Is telling you. So you need to follow line by line what is being requested of you for these proposals. So they always put it in there. Sometimes it's deep, right? Real far down, but you need to make sure that you pay attention and go line by line when submitting the responses by the closing date too. As far as like the price, the vendor's price and volume shall be strictly limited to price information and supporting documentation. The price proposal shall also describe all assumptions. However, all assumptions must be addressed and resolved prior to contract award. So again, think about that as you're doing your price. Period of acceptance of proposal. The offeror agrees to hold the prices in its proposal for 120 calendar days from the date specified for receipt of proposals. Um, Again, they provide the POCs for this particular submission. For questions, they tell you about questions. So questions will not be accepted, right? Telephone questions or inquiries will not be accepted. Questions must be submitted no later than December 22nd. So I will tell you just a little bit about that. Once it gets to this, where it's a request for proposal, it's hard, right? The time period to ask questions is short. You really want to ask those questions and build a relationship with the POCs when they do the pre-solicitations and the sources sought. So that's when you want to have those conversations. This is also the requirements, like if you're entering into a subcontracting plan with another small business. This is how they'll evaluate you and all the other details. So, and you see all the way at the bottom of the proposal, all the way at the end, they actually list out. And before I log off tonight, I will show you let's see, show you the pricing template. Okay. So this is the pricing template. So you see how they had the your response to the proposal, and then this will be an attachment where you would actually provide the prices. So, and it's telling you like triage, nurse closure, nurse report, regular nurse report site visits. So you can see the number of people, number of units, um, number of miles, and then you would do the price per unit. So basically, what is required in order to provide that particular service. So you can think the service could be people, the service could be supplies, the service could be the gas and the mileage, right? For that particular request. So this will be what you would provide the government, and you can see it's doing by base period. So April 5th, 2024 through April 4th, 2025. And then that next base period, April 5th, 2025 through April 4th, 2026, which is the optional period one, and so on, option two, three, and four. So you provide the price, right, in order to provide those particular services. So this, I just wanted to show you. And again, when you talk about the pricing list, this will be something to consider. How much would it cost you to provide that particular service? How much would it cost you to pay those salaries in those hours? How much would it cost you to travel, right, from point A to point B? That's what they're requesting in this price evaluation template. So I hope that this was helpful tonight to you. I truly appreciate all of you spending time with me this evening. Want to go deep, deep, deep into detail with the request for proposals because, again, that part is the part that overwhelms. If you need help, if you need that one on one assistance to just go through line item by line item to actually complete your request for proposal, you can book one on one time with me at www.graysconsultinggroup.com. If you want free assistance, you can go to Apex or formerly known as PTech. So Apex, APEX. You can find information. You can Google Apex or you can go to sam.gov. I'll also put the links in the chat once I end this particular live. Again, thank you so much. I appreciate all of your time, all of your support. I'll put my information in. Consultinggroup.com. So you can reach me at www.graysconsultinggroup.com. If you want to connect with me, definitely sign up for the newsletter. We will be sending out some great information and tips. You can meet me here every Monday. So this is Money Mondays. And again, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate all of you watching and joining me tonight.